We're joined by Steve Helwick. You can join him on Hustle Belt. It's the SB Nation platform for the MAC. And Steve, we've got another matchup here with the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, one of my favorite bowl nicknames. We've got Central Michigan making the game at 8-4, 6-2 conference record. Wyoming coming in at 7-5, and what everyone knows about the Cowboys, at least on the surface, is quarterback Josh Allen. Unfortunately, he's on the shelf, and his backup Nick Smith in play, the junior, not having quite the success of Josh Allen, and the Cowboys come limping in with 2 consecutive losses, now taking on Western Michigan or Central Michigan.
Wyoming, I think Josh Allen will probably play in this game. He's questionable with that injured throwing shoulder right now, and that would be the reason a lot of people are tuning in, especially fans of those bad NFL teams, wanting to see what Josh Allen's made of. Allen's one of those quarterbacks, reminds me of a guy like Christian Hackenberg, who all the scouts heralded as a prospect that's very talented and built like the NFL, makes similar motions to NFL quarterbacks, but didn't exactly produce on the field. This year, he only threw for 300 yards in one game this year, and Allen struggled for a lot of the season. Although Wyoming did have a stretch in the midseason where they won 6 out of 7 games, and it looked like the Cowboys were finally getting things back together. Allen gets hurt. Last 2 games, the rest of the team showed that they couldn't play very well without him, only scoring 7 in a loss to Fresno State, and dropping to a really abysmal San Jose State team, 2-11 on the year, and they lost that finale there. But against Central Michigan, if Josh Allen's back, this might be a competitive one here. Central Michigan, though, is one of the hottest teams in the nation, 5 straight wins, and I think the Chippewas' turning point this year was when they won. They beat their bitter rival Western Michigan on a Wednesday night. They were trailing 28-14, just rainy, gross conditions, and the Chippewas just got everything back together. Western Michigan had a red zone turnover. Chippewas capitalized on the momentum, and then late in the game, Shane Morris had this Hail Mary pass, I believe it was to his receiver, Corey Willis, and that was just the Chippewas' turning point in the season. They were able to roll out some impressive wins late in the year, coming back from 17 down in the finale to NIU and beating a very good Huskies team. Shane Morris, you may remember him from Michigan. He has improved as the season's gone along in his senior year, finally completing passes over the 50% mark, something he struggled with early in the season. And when Shane Morris is on, this Chippewas team is on. And Morris is having a game in the Potato Bowl on the blue turf. Chippewas are definitely in business. They got a lot of good offensive weapons. Tight end Tyler Conklin, when he's healthy, has been great. Wide receiver Corey Willis, someone else who came back from injury, has been great this year. And then you have to look, one player I'd watch for the Chippewas all game, defensive end Joe Osman on defense. I think he leads the nation in sacks per game. Just played 10 games this year, so that helped his sack numbers. But he's a very good pass rusher. The conference has many talented pass rushers, and he's one of the best in it. And that would be a great matchup to see, is him versus a Wyoming offensive line. This one I'm going to say is close. I'm going to say, with the uncertainty of Josh Allen, how he'll be, I'm going to say Central Michigan will pull out a narrow win, something along the lines of 27-21 in Idaho.
So for anybody out there looking for a game in which there might be a lot of kind of wacky, out of the ordinary plays, these 2 teams are number 1 and number 2 in the nation in takeaways. So this could be a turnover fest. At least that's what it statistically projects to be. So they've matched up the 2 top turnover teams on takeaways by the defense, number 1 and number 2, with 31 and 30 respectively. You mentioned Shane Morris coming down the stretch, playing very, very well during the 5-game winning streak, 26 touchdowns, 13 picks overall, and Jonathan Ward very hot down the stretch and running the ball and balancing out the offense with 625 yards and 7 touchdowns in that 5-game run for Central Michigan. They come into the game at 8-4 and 6-2.